married, 2 kids in 2 different school systems. I run a business full time. So in the past, try out the rock climbing gym, started running. Like I'd find excuses of like why I don't have the time to do that. But I mean, what I realize now is that I actually have the time. Like I can make the time. It's funny because I signed up with you, and literally the next week I left on a cruise. I mean, I was like serious, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going crazy on this cruise. I skipped dessert. I was texting you like, hey, what do you think about this? And I actually realized not only not have gained weight, but I can actually do that and come home and weigh less than I did when I went. And before I always thought like, oh, if you go on vacation, you're just going to gain weight. That's just what happened. When we signed up, I told you, I was like, really, I just want to lose like 20 pounds. I want to be like 180. In my mind, I might get there around August. And so now we're sitting in March, and I've lost 14 pounds. I'm 186. I would say they just need to get off their ass and join the program. I waited way longer than I should have for all the reasons I've talked about. Telling myself, I'm just not a gym person. I just don't have the time to put into it. Like all these things. If you keep doing what you've always done, then you'll always get what you've always had. So you'll just keep being the same person that you are. If you want to make a change, you got to make a change. You got to make a choice to make a change.
Yeah, so when we first obviously got on a call for the first time and everything like that, and then do you remember what was going on in your head that made you decide you wanted to make a change?
Like I've worked in construction like most of my adult life. So I was always, out there like swinging hammers, doing all kinds of stuff, like stayed in decent shape, like never great. The past 3 years I've been in an office. I've been extremely blessed because my company grew enough to where, like I'm in the office. But the problem with that is I sit in a chair, and I've noticed over like several years, just weight adding on, and I'm tired of having a gut. So I knew I had to make a change, and I didn't like really know how to go about that. There's so much advice out there that it's hard to know, what's good advice, what's bad advice. Everybody's posting on social media. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do cardio. Oh, don't do cardio. Oh, you got to eat like this. You got to do keto. And I'm like, I don't know. It was all way too complicated. So I just needed something. I needed somebody that knew what they were doing that could help me actually get with it and hold me accountable. So
Yeah, sweet. And then, so for those who don't know, this is Daniel. And then, what kind of transformation did you make working with me so far?
man, so far, back when I signed on, I was right at 200 pounds. Actually I noticed it pretty quickly start to drop. So I've been 8 weeks now, and I've lost right at 14 pounds. I'm starting to actually notice more more muscle definition. So it's pretty
Sweet.
nice.
Awesome. And then, so like you were saying there's all sorts of advice online, makes you feel a little bit lost, different workouts, different routines. They tell you all sorts of different diets to try. How did you finally decide to make a serious commitment to change your health and your body and get rid of the gut?
I hadn't been like in a gym. I mean, probably since I was 26 years old. I'm 42, so that's been a while. And even, I mean, back in my 20s, the few times I went to a gym, I was always like, I felt like I had no clue what I was doing. So I'd go hit some reps on some machines, and I'd leave and feel like I hadn't really done anything.
Mm.
Um, and so I've said forever, I'm like, like I'd love to be a gym rat, but I'm just not one. So I mean, I tried some other things. I actually joined a rock climbing gym about a year ago, a
Like
year and a half
bouldering?
ago. I was like, what's that?
Like like bouldering?
Yeah, like
Bouldering?
yeah, like yeah. Chattanooga's got a place called High Point Climbing and Fitness.
Okay.
So it's actually like rock climbing. You can like go get strapped up and climb, like all kinds of stuff. I thought I enjoy that. It's fun. I don't really rock climb at all outside of that, but I was like, that'd be cool, and like I thought that would get me in shape, but I just didn't stick with it. Like also, like, I didn't really feel like it was doing much. And then I started running, like with my wife, because she's a runner, and I was like, okay, I'll run, and I did that for a summer, and then that got kids went back to school, and I made excuses of why I didn't have time, and just all the things, and so then finally I just kept, I mean, the weight just kept like inching up, inching up, inching up. I don't know. I just got sick of it. And I'm not even sure how or why, but like I started seeing some of your videos on Instagram,
Hmm.
like just I guess like I don't know if it was sponsored ads or like suggested videos for me or whatever. Um, I just started seeing them, and I'm like, I don't know, this guy seems like he actually like has his stuff together. He's not making crazy claims, you know, because so
Hmm.
many like people you see, they're like, oh yeah, like I can help you do this, and you're like, there's no way, like you know, in the time frame you're saying, like that's just crazy. I'm like, this guy actually seems like he knows what he's doing, so. I had been ready to make a change. My biggest struggle, I think, was actually getting my head around like, okay, I'm going to actually go to the gym and work out on machines,
Yeah.
because, you know,
Sweet, sweet. And then, yeah. So, how was your first? Let's just say the first month. How was that being in the program?
it was great. I don't know. I mean, the food was the eating, tracking food. That was a little bit of of an adjustment. And I tend to not be the most organized person, and
Hmm.
so I thought I would really struggle with that. Like actually, like making sure I logged everything, tracked everything. It was way easier than I thought it would be. I got to the point that I'd even like I typically log things before I ate it, like kind of a discipline thing. Like I'm gonna go ahead and log it and then eat it, which is actually nice too because that'll help you see if something doesn't really fit in the macros, and then you can be like, never mind, I'm not gonna eat that. But that was that was an adjustment. The gym was definitely a big adjustment. Um, I mean, I remember the first time I like walked in the gym, signed up for a membership, and went to work out. I don't know, like I had this like mindset, like you know, like all these gym people are going to be looking at me like, oh, who's this guy? He doesn't know what he's doing. Because I felt that way,
Yeah.
um, but it was actually like super cool just having the workout laid out. It kind of helped me get past that like gym anxiety or whatever, so I could just do it. I didn't care what you know, tune out everybody else, and then you start to realize like I start to realize like there's nobody in here looking at me.
Yeah.
There's nobody here that cares what I'm
Yeah.
doing or not doing. Like I'm gonna do my thing, and we're all good.
Exactly. They're not gonna care if you're there tomorrow. Um, and yeah, you realize, yeah, nobody's paying attention to you really when you're going to the gym.
Right.
But yeah, what do you feel like is after being able to lose so far the first 14 pounds in the first 8 weeks, what's the biggest change you felt?
The confidence, honestly.
Hmm.
Um, I used to, and I told you this back when we signed up, or back when we had that first like conversation. Um, I had got to a point in life, like I started noticing that everywhere I went, I was constantly sucking my gut in. You know, I was just like, you know, I'd walk around sucking my gut in because I didn't want people to like see my gut. I trim it down, getting some like actual muscle tone. I'm like, it's boosted my confidence a whole lot. I feel like I've got more energy. Funny what happens when you eat the right foods and actually like work out, but um, like I feel like I've got more energy than I used to, and yeah, clothes fit better, so that's a good plus.
Yeah, have you had to buy any new clothes yet?
I haven't yet. I have had to adjust a couple notches on my belt.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I haven't bought any clothes yet, but I got a couple pairs of jeans that I actually just bought probably 2 or 3 weeks before I got on the program that were actually like a size bigger than the jeans I had already, and I already pretty much like decided I'm gonna have to buy new ones of those.
Yeah.
So I'm
Sweet.
just like I'm putting it off.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and then what do you feel like has been the biggest factor to your success when you took that leap and joined the program?
Like really, it's just a program. Like having the program just laid out where I mean the meals are laid out, the workouts are laid out. Like you got all the things, and you know like if I do this, it's gonna work. Like just having that there, um, it makes it to where like I'm not guessing. Like I'm not like second guessing. Like am I doing the right thing? Uh, can I eat this? Like should I not eat this? So just having that plan like really is the biggest factor. Having the accountability, like a little something I was gonna snack on. And my wife like literally was like, "Oh, would cruise like that?" I was like, really? Come on now." But but just having that accountability, like I know I'm logging everything I do, and I know if I get off track, crews are gonna like message me and be like, "Hey, bro, what's up with this?" Like, and luckily that hasn't happened a lot, but
Mhm.
there has been times, and so that helps a whole lot. Just knowing I have a plan, but knowing that the plan is going to work if I just execute it, and knowing that if I don't execute it, I'm going to have accountability.
Uh-huh.
I'm, for me, that's all the game changer right there.
So it's those two things. Obviously having it laid out for you, but then also if you don't do the things that are laid out for you, having somebody's going to call you out for it, right?
Exactly.
All right, sweet. Okay. I'm ready now. All right. So, obviously my goal is to give you the best possible like coaching experience because so many people don't get the right guidance and there's constantly, this information going back and forth on everything, but what was something that surprised you most about like the coaching relationship? So you've worked with me throughout this journey, but why do you feel like my program in particular allowed you to achieve these results when, others failed? Was there anything you were particularly like worried about going into the program besides just the fact that it was going to be difficult? Like even given
Um,
like maybe just things about your life that may get into the way.
well, I mean, like my schedule, for one. So,
Hmm.
married, two kids in two different school systems. I run a business full time. So, I mean, we've got 22 employees. I tend to be on the go all the time. So in the past, try out the rock climbing gym, started running. I'd always I get so far into it, and then I'd always find like I'd find excuses for why I didn't have time. Like I kept telling myself when I was running, but then my kids started back school, and then I was trying to figure out okay, when am I going to go run and not take time away from my family? It was always I'd find excuses of why I don't have the time to do that. But I mean, what I've realized now is that I actually have the time. I can make the time. If that means I show up to work 30 minutes late, or I leave 30 minutes early to hit the gym before I go home. Kind of a challenge that I thought I would have is just my schedule. Being able to fit it in, being able to do it, being able to prep meals. When life is crazy and we're running around. Plus, I told you the other day, I kind of signed up with you during my craziest time of the year. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, out of the past 8 weeks, I think I've been out of town 5 weekends,
Hmm.
either on business trips or other trips. So, life's crazy, but I really thought that would be a challenge. But I think whatever's important to you, you'll make time for.
And so you think so it's possible to lose weight, hit your goals even while traveling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Um, in the past, go on a cruise or vacation or business trip, and I would just think oh, I'm just gonna eat whatever's out there. I'll gain weight on this weekend trip or whatever, but I'll lose it back next week. And it's funny because I signed up with you, and literally the next week I left on a cruise. I mean, I was serious, and I'm you know what? I'm not going crazy on this cruise. I skipped dessert. I tried to pick the best choices, the best I knew how to. I was texting you hey, what do you think about this? And I actually realized at the end of that, I'm wow, I can actually go on a cruise and come home and not only not have gained weight, but I can actually do that and come home and weigh less than I did when I went. And before I always thought oh, if you go on vacation, you're just going to gain weight. That's just what happens.
Why do you feel like you chose like online coaching? Because given I'm just like a face through a screen, you have
Right.
a, you know, at some point, hopefully in the future we meet or something like that. But like, what would make you trust somebody through a screen online coaching versus just getting a trainer in person?
I'm not 100% sure what it was exactly that made me trust you. Because I've actually had a friend here, after I'd already signed up with you, that was oh, dude, if you want a personal trainer, I know a guy. And but I'm I don't know, I don't want some dude staring at me the whole time I work out. Like, um, that's just
Yeah.
weird. I don't want a buddy. I mean, I'd love for us to become friends, but I don't want a
Hmm.
buddy that's just gonna I want somebody that's gonna kick my ass if I get out of line with it.
Yeah.
Um, And so, like for me, I don't know, like it not being like somebody in person, it's got a bunch of benefits for me. But like I said, I mean, one thing is just not, I don't know, like I don't want somebody like breathing down my neck while I'm doing workouts. I just want to go in there and put my like AirPods in and
Do you feel like you had any concern with like doing the form of the exercises, performing them properly, preventing injury? Did you run into any issues with that?
I didn't. And actually, so I wasn't ever like really concerned about that exactly. What I found out that's super cool is so like in the app, all the workouts you got videos on either like videos that you've done or videos that are linked to every single workout. So every one of them like you can pull it up, watch the video, it'll show you the form. I mean, there've been several times I've starting out especially there'd be several times like I'd see the video and I'd do a set, but then during the 90-second rest, I'd pull the video back up again and be like, okay, I'm not sure I had that form, quite right. So I pull the video back up and watch it again during the rest. The videos are super helpful for that, especially for somebody like me that hasn't walked in a gym in 15 years.
Yeah, sweet. So there's really no issues with the form because that would be somebody's big. Some people like are concerned like I need somebody to show me exactly how to do it in person. But you think like videos are just enough and are plenty
Yeah,
help
I mean,
for
I
you?
think so. And I mean, yeah, I think the videos are great, but also, um, and we haven't done this, but I'm pretty sure if I had a real question, I could just like you pop my phone up and video me doing the
Hmm.
workout and send it to you, and you'd be like, oh, you would tell me. So
Yeah,
that was never any concern for me.
awesome. And then, where do you see your fitness journey in like a year? Where do you think you're at then?
Man, like I don't even know because I mean when we signed up, I told you I was like, really, I just want to lose like 20 pounds. I want to be like 180, between 180 and
Hmm.
185. And now I'm like, I mean, in my mind, I might get there around August. And so now we're sitting in March and I've lost, 14 pounds. I'm 186. And I'm like, man, I don't even know now. Like, yeah, I'm not completely sure, like, where I see it going, but I'm excited for it for sure.
So like it's beyond your expectations, is pretty much what you're saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you feel like I mean, so what it sounds like is you kind of go into something with some limiting beliefs and then you were thinking like, okay, it would take a whole year to lose this 20 pounds when it's going to take maybe 10, 12 weeks. But now it's just like you want it knowing that you like broke all those past limiting beliefs. You thought you didn't want it pretty much because you didn't think it was possible, right? Is that kind of what you're getting at? And then do you feel like age is a factor in how fast you can progress?
No,
Not at
absolutely
all?
not. I don't think so. I mean, I'm 42. I lost 14 pounds in 8 weeks. I didn't think I could do that. So, um, I think I think as people age, like I've noticed as I age, like it seems to be easier to put weight on. I think prior to this, I thought that age would make it harder to get back off. If I can do it with my schedule at 42 years old, I don't think that's a factor at all. Sorry, one
Okay.
of my guys is waving by out the window.
Oh, no, you're fine. And then would you feel like just tips and a program would be enough for you to see success? Or do you feel like the plan and then also the accountability go hand in hand?
No, I think you've definitely got to have like all of that. I think the plan and accountability, like
Hmm.
for me, I think that's what makes it work. I mean, tips and all that stuff is great, but um, yeah, I think you got to have the plan and the accountability.
Sweet. And then was there ever a moment where you doubted the program at all?
No, not yet. And I don't think I mean at this point I don't think I'll ever have that moment, um, but no, not
Awesome.
at all.
Okay, so for anybody who would be on the fence about joining and isn't sure if they can, lose the weight, build the muscle, whatever things they feel like's holding them back, what would you say to them?
I would say they just need to get off their ass and join the program. I waited way longer than I should have for all the reasons I've talked about. Like I could tell. telling myself, I'm just not a gym person. Like, I just don't have the time to put into it. Like all these things, and then you realize, like, oh, if you keep doing what you've always done, then you'll always get what you've always had.
Yeah.
Like, like if you don't like get on board, then like, you'll just keep being the same person that you are. If you want to make a change, you got to make a change. You got to make a choice to make a change.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that's about it for all my questions. I appreciate you you coming on here and just doing this interview and everything like that.